Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Nintendo Pow Block here on the Boss Rush Network. I'm your one and only host, Corey Deering, and no, you didn't see that time of the podcast. It's really going to be a short one, a relatively short one. It's more of this is kind of what's happening as we approach 2025. I know we missed last week for Thanksgiving, and we don't have a real episode this week, but I did want to make sure that I was updating everybody on what's happening here, not just with Nintendo Pow Block, but with Boss Rush in general. So 2025, we are really going to focus on Nintendo content. We're going to focus on indies, because obviously the next Switch is coming out, and we really want to make sure that we are covering that in a way that makes sense, especially for our audience, right? Like Boss Rush audience is really indie and Nintendo focused. Probably 80% of the coverage comes for that, so that's kind of what we're aiming for. Now, Pow Block's going to the structure of Pow Block's going to stay the same, but we are going to add some faces to the crew. Stephanie wants to be a little bit more involved with Nintendo Pow Block. We're going to have some rotating guests come in. We're going to have some, previously kind of co-hosts that have been on before, and like Andre and Austin, and a few new faces that will be kind of rotating in and out, because the one thing I really miss about Nintendo Pow Block is having that full cast. I don't get me wrong, I love the one-on-one with me and Ed, but also like we would like to bring in some fresh voices and fresh perspectives, and just kind of have new experiences on the show, I guess, especially as we ramp up to cover the new console and kind of revamp some content heading into 2025. That's kind of the goal, right? So that's kind of what's happening. Nintendo Pow Block is kind of saying the same. We are merging Expansion Pass and what we've been calling Boss Rush Plus for a while now. So Expansion Pass is going to be an all-encompassing thing. We're getting rid of the Boss Rush Plus name. It never really took off the way, we kind of wanted it to. And Expansion Pass is kind of a term that we can use for patrons and that kind of thing. So that's kind of where we're at. Expansion Pass is going to, have spoiler casts and book club and interviews and roundtable discussions and lists and, just kind of the things that you're kind of used to on both sides of the fence, but it's just going to be kind of all encompassing moving forward. Everything in Expansion Pass will be divided into 3 kind of separate categories as instant release. So that would be most interviews, that would be the direct recap show, or a segment we're calling conference call, which if we want to cover a state of play or a Xbox developer direct, or Summer Game Fest or the Game Awards, or something along that line, conference call would be where it lands, right? So what else do I need to address here? We're gonna really, really push the Nintendo content hard, to the point where we're gonna have some Nintendo Let's Play style stuff kind of go up. I don't know if it's going to be on this main channel or if we're going to have a Let's Play channel, quote unquote. I know that's a popular thing to do. I don't know if we have enough content or enough means to do that, but also like Nintendo has always been kind of weird about their content being on the internet in different ways. So our content doesn't get taken down at any point because of that. Not that it would, but we would rather be safe than sorry. I would rather lose let's plays than 10 years worth of podcasts or whatever in video form. So that's kind of what's going to happen, right? So what else do I need to cover here? Boss Rush podcast is going to stay the same for the most part. Again, we're going to rotate guests and writers and a bunch of different creators and hopefully developers in to kind of do the podcast with us. And then the last thing I guess I want to address are the Bossies. The Bossies are coming up January 16th. It's a Thursday night, 8:30 Eastern. Pre-show starts 9 o'clock. The main show starts. Very excited for that. A lot of great guests, creators involved, developers. I'm very excited to show you what's coming from that. It's very exciting. The Bossies are always a good time. The Bossies are always exciting. I really am proud of what we've, at least structurally put together so far. And I hope everybody out there enjoys it because everybody's put a lot of hard work into this and a lot of great people are contributing to the show, and I'm just very thankful that people are volunteering their time to put the effort in. Let's see, what else do I need to address here? Patreon is changing. I said that before, but we're essentially going to have 3 tiers. We're going to get rid of the community interaction tier. It's not utilized. So what we'll do is the $1 tier, which grants you early access to everything. The $5 tier, which is a Patreon exclusive, or the Patreon producer tier, sorry. And the Patreon producer tier will also be granted certain exclusive access to things. On top of that, we will be adding a 3rd tier with physical merchandise later in the year. I'm hoping April or either the beginning of Q2 or Q3. I would like to have some sort of 3rd tier where you get our some sort of merchandise. We've talked about these coins that we get made or developed. We've talked about pins, a sticker pack, a shirt design of some sort. We've talked about that kind of stuff. And maybe an exclusive like Q&A or hangout session or something. So we're kind of developing that 3rd tier right now, but we're going to head into the year with 2 tiers. Anybody at the $3 tier at the beginning of the year, please let me know and we will see about getting you into a different tier. It's Patreon. We want Patreon to be easy to access and kind of feel like you're getting something out of it without, like you're getting value out of it without having to feel like you're missing anything if that makes sense. So like our pre-shows, Nintendo Pow Block's getting a pre-show, or a post-show, whatever we want to call it. I haven't decided if it's a pre-show or post-show yet. And that'll be exclusive. The Boss Rush pre-show is exclusive. Early access for book club and anything else that we kind of do that aren't what I already said was instant release. And we will continue to offer the free tier, which will grant you access to the main podcasts. So that's where we're at there, right? So on top of that, we're not really adding any content, I guess. Just to kind of make a note here for everybody, the Xbox show that I do and the Destiny show that I do are coming back in-house to Boss Rush proper. It's still going to stay on its own YouTube channel, the Tower Casuals YouTube channel, but we are going to start putting it. We've already started putting it on the website, and we're going to start putting it on Patreon feeds and stuff like that. So that's kind of the update for Pow Block and Boss Rush in general. There's a lot of exciting things. I'm really excited for a lot of things that are happening. It's kind of late right now. We just got done recording our kind of game bossies prep doc kind of nominee breakdown thing for the Boss Rush podcast. So I'm not trying to take up too much more time. I apologize that we're missing another week. Ed's working a lot, and it's kind of just sorry. I got a message about some podcast stuff, bossy stuff. Anyways, the point I'm trying to make here is like in 2025, my personal goal is to not miss a week of content. We have enough people involved to rotate people in and out. We have enough people involved for people to take breaks. We have enough people involved and enough guests and friends that can kind of sit in and for a week if we need to. And we can record ahead. We can record, that kind of thing. But my honest to God, true feelings is I hate when we miss content, right? And that's the reason why I'm recording this now, is because we had last week off, and I hate when podcasts take weeks off. It bothers me beyond belief, because consistency is key to any podcast success. And in my opinion, we haven't really done a great job of being consistent with certain things recently, to nobody's fault, and schedules and timing and everything. And that's just it's a me thing. It's a me bothersome. It bothers me, right? So it's nobody's fault. It's not even that it's wrong, right? I'm not trying to say that. I just I don't like missing content, because that's what being consistent was what separates you from everybody else. And so my goal next year is to not miss content. And if we have to pull people in or have a bunch of guests or whatever and pre-record stuff, that's all fine with me. But I want us to be consistent next year, and more reliable, especially for the Patreon content, because I know we kind of fell off the last couple months, with after kind of being rescheduled and retooled and certain other things, expansion pass kind of losing its way because of schedules and scheduling, and certain nights needing to record and certain nights just aren't working out or working late or whatever. So that's that. I just want to give everybody an update on Nintendo Pow Block. It's coming back. We'll be back with a full-on episode next week. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday, their Thanksgiving. If you are not from the United States, I hope you enjoyed your week and your weekend. I don't think there's any real Nintendo news we need to go over real quick. Let's see here. So a lot of the Donkey Kong Game Boy games came to NSO, so that's a pretty big deal. Nintendo made a pretty big deal about the entire Donkey Kong series now being playable on the Switch with the release of Donkey Kong Country Returns HD in January. So that's super cool. I really like the Game Boy Donkey Kong games. I think they're underrated. They're based off the Super Nintendo games. They feel like remixed versions of that. But again, they're relatively well received. And I think they're worth a shot at playing. If you like the Super Nintendo games at all, you should try those out. Let's see here. I don't think there's really too much here. There's not really any news. So, even though we're missing an episode, technically there's not really a lot going on. The Ubisoft studios that closed, 2 of them will close, and 277 people got laid off, probably more. I'm not 100% sure if that's going to be more or not. Again, we'll talk about it next week. But that's I'm going to tell you that's kind of it. I just want to give everybody an update. We'll be back with a full-on episode next week. I'm sure we'll be talking about Fantasian, Neo Dimension, Roller Coaster Tycoon Classic comes to Switch this week, which I'm very excited for. And hopefully we'll be getting some sort of Switch 2 news soon. I feel like we are running out of time. Power Rangers got delayed. That was a big news story. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to keep any more of your guys' time, especially since I'm by myself, and I know people don't like solo shows, as it's been relayed to me. So I hope the updates were clear enough for everybody. If not, you can always follow me or find me and hit up the Discord and figure out, and I can kind of clarify things for you. But 2025 is going to be a big year for us. I feel it. I'm feeling really good about the year. I'm feeling really good about the bossies. I'm feeling really good about some of the hosting decisions that we've decided on, and some of the content clarity that we've been able to make, to hopefully be more consistent for everybody. Consistency is key. Being consistent is king. And to do that, we need to make some more streamlined decisions and cleaner decisions and better decisions. And I think we're doing that. So anyways, you can subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. For just $1, you get the pre-shows and the early access to book club and some other content that's been coming out recently. We only have 3 more shows left of the year for this show, because we are taking the last 2 weeks off for the bossies to record and finalize anything that we need to finalize and anything like that. So I will see everybody on the next episode. Thank you so much for watching and or listening to this show, the Boss Rush Podcast, and everything else. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. If you want to see how you can become a Patreon producer, head on over to patreon.com/BossRushNetwork. The Patreon producers for this month are Adriel Munger, Austin Campbell, Celeste Roberts, Christian S., Sana Dierig, Francisco Santillan, Matthew Keel, and Todd Oxtra. Thanks for your continued support of the Boss Rush Network.